You're watching RT International live from our Moscow studio with me, Nadira Tudor. Welcome to the programme. Donald Trump has delivered his first speech at the United Nations, criticising the organisation for bureaucracy and mismanagement and calling for reform. RT's Caleb Maupin reports from New York on how the businessman turned president would like to see more value for money in diplomacy.
Does red mean it's on or is off? On.
Donald Trump has made his debut before the UN, the world's leading international body, a body that he once called a club for people to get together, talk, and have a good time. Trump opened the first session of the UN General Assembly with a quite familiar message: make things great again with reform.
In recent years, the United Nations has not reached its full potential because of bureaucracy and mismanagement. While the United Nations on a regular budget has increased by 140%, and its staff has more than doubled since 2000, we are not seeing the results in line with this investment.
At this point, the United States is the top contributor to the United Nations. The USA pays 22% of the core UN budget and 28% of the peacekeeping operations. That's 3 times the second largest contributor, China. Being a businessman, this is how Trump sees it. Because the USA is such a big contributor, it has every right to question the UN's results. And the USA has been seeing itself overruled by the international community. When the UN ruled against Israeli settlements, this triggered accusations of bias.
I'm here to emphasize the United States is determined to stand up to the UN's anti-Israel bias.
I think most Americans believe that the United Nations has become more anti-Semitic, more anti-Israeli, and I'm a big internationalist, but we're going to stop the money until we get this fixed.
And then there's Syria. Russia and China are frequently vetoing resolutions that they view as misconceived. This is causing American lawmakers to say that they are a threat to global security.
The problem is the international community is being held hostage by China and Russia. It just vetoed a United Nations Security Council resolution condemning the Assad regime. Every time that's been tried, they have blocked it.
Former UN Ambassador for the United States, Samantha Power, a longtime advocate of U.S. military interventions, has said that perhaps Russia and China's veto power should be removed.
If a particular body reveals itself to be dysfunctional, then people are going to go elsewhere. And if that happened for more than Syria and Ukraine, and you started to see cross-the-border paralysis, it would certainly jeopardize the Security Council's status as a go-to international security arbiter.
It's sort of the Trump Tower version of the UN reform. He simply wants to cut money, and on that, I suppose, one can wish him well, but I don't think it's the right way to approach the more profound questions of peace, which, to me, balancing the world against each other is a bit more important than balancing the budget.
The United Nations Charter does not allow for pay-to-play schemes. Votes are not for sale. Before the USA calls the UN disrespectful, it should remember that it's a global platform for compromise, where every voice can be heard. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.